Joe Gibbs Racing and their future driver, Ty, have been in the center of attention recently, but for all the wrong reasons. Ty has made some moves that have really gotten his integrity and his reputation as a driver questioned, after crashing into his teammate at Martinsville. On the other hand, although he had a clean race in Phoenix, the win and the Xfinity Series championship will be shadowed by Ty's father, Coy's death. Speculations have started that Ty won't be ready to move to the Cup Series from the next season, due to the fact that he won't have enough time to process his father's death, and he won't have the guidance to compete against the big names in the Cup Series. Ty has experience driving in the Cup Series, replacing Busch in 2311 Racing, and that is exactly what was supposed to happen at the last race in Phoenix. However, Ty received news that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy, and that's that his father passed away on Sunday morning. During Saturday's race, the only one that Ty won and clinched the championship with, Coy was supporting his son all the way through, and this is something that Ty won't be able to count on in the following period. It's not a small thing to process, and only people who've lost their parents know what Ty is currently going through and what he will go through in the near future. After all, Ty is only 20 years old, and the feeling of grieving and unacceptance will probably be present with him for some time. That is a mentality and an attitude that no team would want to have in their own ranks, which is why JGR will likely push the signing of Ty a bit later in his career. Had the plans of Gibbs replacing Kyle Busch and JGR been announced earlier this season, this story wouldn't have been surfacing at all. However, Ty's grandfather owns the team, and it goes without saying that Ty will have a lot to say about whether he is ready to race or not. The fact that the news of his signing with JGR hasn't been confirmed yet just goes to show that now, with his father's death, Gibbs' debut in NASCAR is under a huge question mark. And the fact that Ty won't have the immense support from his dad in the future could be a decisive one as to whether or not he decides he is ready for the Cup Series from 2023 onwards. We know how supportive his father was of Ty, and that was proven after the race in Martinsville where Coy said, "I've been through this before in multiple sports, Ty hasn't." So it was more watching him and seeing how he's going to react during the day. I think he's just doubled down and did his job after making a huge mistake last week. It was fun to watch that. Coy himself was a NASCAR driver in the past, so it goes without saying that Ty would have learned a lot from his father when it comes to the racing experience and some tips and tricks on how to become a better driver. This is something that he would have desperately needed due to the fact that his reputation isn't currently sitting at the best possible level, and that is something that hurt his chances of being a respected and valued driver in NASCAR. Kyle Petty, for one, is truly critique-oriented towards the young driver, and according to him, Ty is an entitled driver that thinks everything in this sport is allowed. However, that is something that is not going to be tolerated in the Cup Series, which is why we believe that Ty might take one more year in the Xfinity Championship to process his emotions thoroughly. I don't believe it changes a lot in the garage. I think it changes the fans' perception of who Ty Gibbs is. I think Ty Gibbs has proven now to everyone that he is arrogant, entitled, and thinks he can just go in and take things when they're not his and do it the wrong way. And that's what I don't like about it as much. We've seen people move people 1,000 times. He didn't move this guy. He wrecked him in the middle of the straightaway. When you see it, it's before they ever get to the corner. He's backing it, and then he gets out and raises his hands. It's a punk move. And yes, it goes without saying that NASCAR is a competitive and therefore emotional sport. Sometimes you cannot get what you want, so the emotions can get the best of you. And the adrenaline running through your veins can make you do stuff that is not meant to be done sober. After all, the sober version of Ty crashed into his teammate and was punished multiple times in the season due to his actions, not the emotionally affected one. Ty Gibbs has spoken about the incident after Martinsville, and although he regrets his actions and feels like he should have reacted differently, the results stand as they are, and the black mark that he painted upon himself at this race will remain to the end of his career. What I did last week was unacceptable, and I apologize once again. But it was unacceptable because we could have had 2 shots to win this deal, and it was stupid from an organizational standpoint. All my fault. I can sit here and tell you I'm sorry as much as I can, but it's not going to fix it. I've got to fix my actions. What is a positive that we can take out of this situation is the fact that Ty left out this incident in Martinsville and moved on quickly to Phoenix with a different mentality. We've seen fair and square racing from him and his team, and that is why the second consecutive race that was won by him received a lot of praise and applause from his rivals. For example, Ty's biggest rivals in Phoenix were Gregson and Algier, and with 20 laps remaining, his clean racing allowed him to take the lead and keep it until the end of the race. This is something that Gregson, the driver from whom Ty took the lead, praised after the race, saying, He did a great job. They won the race fair and square today. It takes great people around you to learn, and I think he is capable. He's a great race car driver, and I've been in those shoes too, where it just seems like you can't do nothing right, and it's you against the world and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think he's got potential, and he hasn't reached his full potential yet off the track. Still, if his father hadn't passed away at this point of his life, and now that he is supposed to grieve and accept his emotions, the Cup Series could be overwhelming for him. He cannot expect that every driver will go out of the way just because he feels angry that his father isn't here to watch him anymore. And that is something that JGR understands better than anybody else. Therefore, the rumors of Ty sitting out a full season in the Cup Series, or at least sharing it 50-50 with another driver such as John Hunter Nemechek, who is also rumored to be signed by JGR as a replacement for Busch, are a real opportunity. After all, Ty's mental health is a top priority for the team, and this is something that Joe Gibbs understands better than anybody else. Nemechek has all the right reasons to move on to Toyota after being linked to a full-time racing seat in the Xfinity Series. However, with how situations stand now, Nemechek could be in contention to replace Busch from 2023 on, and Gibbs would be competing full-time in the Xfinity Series and splitting the driving duties of the number 18 Toyota in the Cup Series. After Truex's plans for retirement achieve reality from 2024 on, Gibbs could take the vacant seat in JGR and move to the full-time racing seat in his granddad's team. Nevertheless, it's a difficult situation for both the team and Ty, and it goes without saying that what Ty is going through isn't an easy situation. On top of that, he is just 20 years old, and to be competing at the highest level of NASCAR itself is a very challenging matter, let alone knowing that your biggest support of your life has passed away. It's a period that we'll monitor closely as we move forward with NASCAR's driver lineups, but Coy's death has surely shaken up many plans for JGR and Ty. The fact that Ty wasn't even 100% sure to be driving the number 18 Toyota prior to his father's death just goes to show that there could be some different situations transpiring in the future. What do you think will happen between Ty and JGR? Do you think that he'll take the vacant spot in the team? Or he will split the duties with Nemechek and will drive one more season in the Xfinity Series? Let us know in the comments below.